Well, leftists are terrified of being drafted into war. Oh, the irony, the very same young leftists that voted overwhelmingly for the warmongering, child-sniffing Joe Biden are now terrified that their man in the White House is going to draft them to go to war and fight on his behalf. They're telling Biden basically on social media, go F yourself. Are they having buyer's remorse? According to Zero Hedge, over the past few weeks, searches for military draft and military draft age have been skyrocketing on Google Trends. So I confirmed this today. I went on Google Trends and to see what is the search volume right now for young people who are pretty darn concerned that they are about to be drafted. So here's the military draft age as a search query. Look at this. People searching military draft age to find out, am I going to be drafted? Look there on the right side of your screen. This huge spike in these in this search query.
Now to the United States, where the Army is facing its most formidable foe. No, it's not China, it's not even Russia, it's Gen Z. You heard that right? Those born between 1996 and 2010. That's what Gen Z stands for. The generation known for TikTok and avocado toasts. And now their lukewarm response to combat boots. Gen Z does not want to join the US Army, and this is causing a recruitment crisis. Some context first. The US military ended its draft system in 1973. Before that, serving in the military was compulsory in America. After 1973, it became voluntary. 50 years have passed since. And now the US military is facing its worst recruitment crisis in history. Just look at the numbers. They're failing to meet recruitment targets. The signs have been there for a while, but this year the numbers are particularly bad. The Army is expected to fall short by 15,000 recruits, the Navy by 10,000, and the Air Force by 3,000 recruits. So all three branches are falling short by around 28,000 people. Now, the US military has 1.4 million active personnel. So a deficit of 30-odd thousand recruits may not look like a big deal, but the Pentagon does not think so. This is the world's third largest army we're talking about. A dip in the numbers could hinder their defenses. But what explains the shortfall? Well, some traditional factors like a strong job market and better incentives in the private sector. But the biggest factor is Gen Z. They're simply not interested in military service. The Pentagon even conducted a survey about this. It talked to young adults. Only 9% of them said they would consider service. That's the lowest level since 2007. Only 9%. Military leaders say they're struggling to hit targets. That's because most of the potential recruits do not meet their standards. Data shows that young people are simply not interested. They do not see a future in the armed forces. Critics say this is lack of patriotism. But America's Gen Z begs to differ. They say it's a lack of old-fashioned patriotism. For them, serving a nation is not just about joining the army. There are other avenues, like social service or political activism, and it turns out they're more inclined towards that. Plus, there's economic stability. A strong job market has been historically associated with low recruitment for the military. And currently, the US job market is doing well. This makes the Army's benefits look less attractive. So it's no surprise what the youth are choosing. Also, there's lack of awareness. Most of them do not really know how time in the Army is actually spent or what the benefits are. So in 2018, the US Army launched a marketing campaign. They invested about $4 billion in marketing. This is a 10-year plan to attract the youth. But so far, that effort has come up short. Gen Z is still opting out. And even if they want to serve, many fail to qualify. They do not make the cut when it comes to physical and mental health. Most of them are overweight. This is according to Johns Hopkins. It talks about Americans between 18 and 25 years of age. More than half of them are overweight, so they cannot enlist. Plus, a record number of young people have mental disorders. They seek therapy. In the US, that's immediate disqualification from service. So even if Gen Z wants, they cannot serve, and that's saying something. So what's the Army doing about this? Well, they're not changing the rules for now, but they're venturing into the world of TikTok and Discord with videos like these. Get ready with me for a day in service, or a video that says, know your army. Basically, the US military is trying everything. Several branches have also increased recruitment payouts, more incentives to lure people. It hasn't really worked yet, but there's something that has. A recent decision by the US Air Force, and listen to this, they have relaxed rules on hand and neck tattoos, also on past marijuana use. You will not be disqualified for that if you've used it in the past. And this has boosted numbers. Maybe that's the key. While life in the army is all about discipline and living by the rules, perhaps some of those rules need an update. Like in this day and age, seeking therapy cannot be seen as a weakness. Should you be disqualified from service because of it? It's a point to ponder. They can also cast a wider net, focus on diversity. America allows women and the LGBT community to serve in the military, but their numbers have been historically low, so maybe they could work on that. The US military was once an institution. It inspired tales of heroism and duty, at least for Hollywood it did. But now those tales are falling on the deaf ears of Gen Z. If the army has to survive, it will have to adapt.
World War III lurks just around the corner. It's coming. Hello and welcome. Thank you for taking the time. This short video, I'm just going to ask you one question, and I'm going to do a series of videos where I'm going to ask you one short question, and I would like to have your answers in the comments. With the war lurking around, if your government announces a draft, whether you're in the US, in Canada, in Europe, if your government announces a draft and you receive a letter that you have been recognized as an able-bodied man or woman to be inducted into the army to fight for your country, what will be your answer? Let me know. Bye for now.